What's up, guys? Classy Metal here, back already with a collection update video. I'm worried that I'm going to burn you guys out on the videos. I've got so much stuff that I need to show, so much stuff that's coming in, and the content just keeps getting pumped out. I don't want to burn you out. I'm going to try to space these out the best that I can. But when I said in my previous video that there was going to be no shortage of material for the channel, I was not lying. What I've got today is a stack of stuff that's kind of been the most prevalent spins going on in my discography in my collection right now. I've been getting quite a bit of new stuff in the mail, obviously just from the videos that I've been showing, but these have kind of put everything else on a back burner. I've been listening to this stuff. There's some classic stuff in here that's just I keep wanting to return to this, and I'm kind of just neglecting some of the newer stuff that I've been purchasing. These are some classic albums for the most part. There's a little bit of other stuff mixed in. There's going to be a lot of thrash metal here, which is highly unusual for this channel. But this is not the modern thrash with that goofy vocal style that I just can't stand. This is actually some classic stuff that I really it actually has my neck sore just from the headbanging that's been going on in the man cave here within the last week or so. Some of these are Russian boots. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. A lot of these albums are hard to find now, especially the original presses. If you do find them, you're going to be paying a ridiculous, absurd amount of money just to have them in your collection. These were all from the same seller. I got a combined shipping discount, and I got pretty decent prices on these auctions. They were on eBay, so I knew what I was getting into up front, so I wasn't upset that they were Russian boots. But from time to time, it's almost a necessary evil for if you're a collector and you just want to own a piece of that album, a piece of that band. And if a original press comes up at a price point that isn't ridiculous, yeah, I'll jump on it. But for now, the Russian boots are nice little placeholders within the collection. That being said, I'm just going to get right into this. The first two albums are, as I said, boots, but they are from a UK thrash metal band. Went blank there for a second. And this is Toranaga. The first one is Bastard Ballads. This came out when I was 6 years old, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've been listening to this band my whole life since they've been around, because that would be a lie. But this is some phenomenal thrash metal. I enjoyed this one quite a bit more than I was expecting to. The one that I'm going to show next from this band is my favorite release from this band. It's really the only album that I'd heard from them leading up to this point, but I knew I enjoyed that album enough. I wanted to dig a little deeper. Their discography, Bastard Ballads, fantastic stuff. It's only 6 tracks long, but it's in-your-face thrash metal. Definitely will have your neck moving. If you're not banging your head to this, you're not living, because there's something wrong with you. But, as I said, 1988, Peaceville Records, Toranaga with Bastard Ballads. The next one is Toranaga with God's Gift. Now, if you didn't know any better and you were just getting into this, you might, I guess, especially within the first few moments, maybe 2 minutes, minute and a half of this album, you would think you were getting yourself into a traditional Doom album. I think that's what suckered me in between the artwork when I first heard this release way back when. I am a proponent of a lot of Doom metal. It is one of my favorite genres, surprisingly. I show a lot of black and death metal, but I do love Doom metal. And when I first listened to this, I thought that's what I was getting into. And for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, yeah, that's what I got. And then after that, it's just in your face, kick your teeth in thrash metal. Fantastic stuff from Toranaga. This is one that I've played on YouTube so many times, over and over. I'm glad to actually have a physical copy in my collection. This is a Russian boot, obviously. When you see these albums that came out, this came out in 1990. When an album came out that's almost 30 years old, or it's and it looks pristine, you know what you're getting yourself into. It's going to usually either be like a Argentinian boot or a Russian boot. They were pretty upfront with this. This is a Russian bootleg. I think this bootleg was pressed 2016, somewhere around in there, so it is fairly new, but this was just pristine, brand new stuff. There's no real rhyme or reason to doing the Russian boots, the unofficial releases. There's no real point of trying to pinpoint a time frame, because they can just repress however many they want, because it is an unofficial release. The next two albums are from another band that is a death metal, classic death metal, thrashy death metal band out of here in the U.S. This is the Messiah. This is Choir of Horrors. This album was so far ahead of its time. This is fantastic stuff. I love this release. Just the intro leading into this album lets you know right up front that you're in for something special. I would have never guessed this came out. This came out in 1991. As I said, this was so far ahead of its time. It does have that classic feel going on, but there's just some stuff going on in this album for me that was just way ahead of its time. Fantastic release. My favorite release from Messiah, or the Messiah, I guess you should say. I just call him Messiah a lot of times. But fantastic stuff, amazing stuff. I'm going to do my best to link up at least a song, maybe a title track. If they have a full album stream here on YouTube, I will try to link all that up in the description. I can't just link up like Bandcamp links and stuff for these because a lot of these are just out of print, classic, that type stuff. But some of this stuff you guys need to hear. Most of you have already heard of these bands. This is nothing new to you, but there are some people, this was probably a little bit before your time and you may have missed out on some of this stuff. Definitely get into the classics because this stuff helps shape and mold a lot of the other stuff that we talk about the majority of the time on this channel. Next up, we have the Messiah with Rotten Parish. I have not listened to this particular CD copy, this CD since it came in. I have listened to this album on YouTube at one point or the other. I do remember enjoying it, but it's one that I haven't just gotten around to since this stack has come in to revisit. If it's anything like Choir of Horrors, that I know I'm going to love this one just as much. I remember enjoying it back in the day when I listened to it, so that's why I went ahead and pulled the trigger and got myself a copy of this. But I will probably, there's a good chance I'll probably throw that one on after I finish this video. I'm going to start doing some dinner prep. I'm going to be trying to be nice and cook for the wife and the kid tonight, so I'm going to try to get some of that stuff done. They're at work and school, so it will be some good I guess chore music while I'm taking care of some stuff around the house. Next up, this is more classic stuff, another Russian boot. This is I guess kind of a traditional heavy metal. They have some good power metal vocals layered over this traditional metal. Thrashy stuff going on this album sometimes as well. This is Liege with Burn to My Touch. That has the just the classic, almost like Judas Priest screams. The whoa! I can't do it, but yeah, that's that's the best I can give you as far as the vocal style going on in this. Just amazing stuff. Birds of Prey. That's the one I'm going to try to link up. If I can't find a full album stream, I'm going to link up that track because that one has like just the amazing traditional metal vocals that make you just want to either throw the fist up or throw the just throw the hand up and just become one with the music as it's going. Amazing stuff. They did a really good job on these boots. I will say that I'm not one to usually commend bootlegs, but if you didn't know any better, if you didn't match up matrix numbers and that type of stuff, aside from the fact that it looks pristine and brand new, having supposedly been something that came out in 1987, if that wasn't the dead giveaway, they did such a good job with these boots, you probably wouldn't know that this was a bootleg just off the top of your head. But amazing stuff by Liege there. Next up, we have some classic UK thrash. This band may be out of Germany. I just kind of blanked out for a second. This is Atrophy with Violent by Nature. This is the sophomore release from Atrophy. And this one, man, this one's a monster. This is one that my neck is sore. I've played this one probably about 4 or 5 times just over the past week. Amazing stuff. This is a band that I should have been more into, and I kind of slept on them and went back and started digging into some stuff. I listened to Stone out of the UK for a little while, and I was listening to some other stuff, and Atrophy kind of came along. I was like, man, this band, they are fairly well known, but they're not nearly talked about as much now as they should be. Atrophy, Violent by Nature. The title track on this, you just get that na Violent by Nature, na, and it's so catchy. You just can't help but sing along with the chorus going on that. I mean, it's classic thrash at its very best. I will put it that way. Amazing stuff. If you have not listened to this, stop what you're doing right now. I think on YouTube, the only thing, they don't have a full album stream. They just have different tracks. I'm going to link up the title track for this. I mean, if you go listen to that, you'll know immediately what I'm talking about, that you just have to throw that fist up and chime right in with the chorus on this. Fantastic stuff by Atrophy. Next up, we have one that is not a bootleg, but this one came out last year. So if it was a bootleg, that would be pretty sad that they already decided to bootleg this. This came out last year on Nuclear Blast Records, but it has a very classic feel to this because it has a lot of classic singers and stuff going on this album. This is a Michael Schenker Fest with Revelation. It is a definite throwback to 80s, late 80s hard rock, heavy metal, almost even a hair metal vibe going on this. It's sometimes amazing stuff. I like this so much better than I thought I would. I kind of got this on a whim. Michael Schenker, he was in UFO for a while. He was in, I believe, in the Scorpions, a member of the Scorpions for a while. He had some addiction problems and that type stuff back in the heyday of those bands. And he's just such an amazing guitarist. He is able to bring in all these different vocalists and stuff and just mesh it so well together. Fantastic. I would love to see Michael Schenker Fest live. I think it would have been. I think there's like 6 vocalists going on with this, and I think it would just be a joy to see this project live. This stuff is so fun. Rock Steady, the first track, is so cheesy, but it's like cheesy in a good way, I guess you could say. It's like throw your hands up. Yeah, I'm not gonna sing for you guys, but it's pretty good stuff. Like I said, I can't even talk about it without smiling. It's cheesy, but it's good. Next up, we have Terror with Decades of Terror. This came out in 2016. It's kind of got some stuff all throughout the lifespan of the band Terror. This is Terror out of Ohio, I want to say. This is kind of thrash, deathy thrash metal. This was actually hand numbered 414 out of 500. I don't know how well there's a hand number right there, but I don't think my camera's going to pick that up. If it does, it's great. As I said, 414 out of 500 on Storm Spell Records. So these all came from the same seller. I don't know if he was just clearing out his personal collection or what, but man, I feel like I just got a steal on the material that I got from this guy. As I said, just kind of death infused thrash metal, I guess, is the best way I know to put this. Kind of creepy vocals going on a lot of the ways, but I mean throughout the lifespan, it's got different tracks throughout the lifespan of this band, and they're all just from different time periods and different sounds going on, but a pretty solid release nonetheless. I'm not usually big on compilation albums, but I did enjoy this one quite a bit. Next up, we have Lovell's Blade with Stone Cold Steel. This is some more of that kind of traditional type heavy metal. It has some a bit of power metal vibe going on. Just classic sounding stuff. This came out. I don't actually see the date on this. This hasn't been out just too terribly long, but it's another one of those that's just a throwback to that classic 80s sound. I was hoping maybe there was a date in this, but you could tell by looking at those guys what you're getting into. Just hard rock, traditional metal going on that. Next up, we have some, new wave of traditional heavy metal coming out of Colombia, of all places. They totally ripped off Powerwolf with the cover art on this. This is The Preacher with Burn My Soul. I've seen this for sale on Hell's Headbangers and that type stuff, and no one else had bidded on this, and it was going on the same auctions, same set with these other CDs that I picked up. It was like 99 cents. I was already doing the combined shipping, so I was like, hey, I'll throw a bid in on this and just give it a blind buy and try it. I mean, it's okay. As I said, it's kind of that, I think it came out in 2018. It has that traditional heavy metal sound, but the vocal mix on this is really strange to me. The way it's mixed into the album, it almost sounds like it was mixed at a different, like the vocals were layered over a different mix or something. I don't know if they did the disharmonies on purpose or what, but there's just something, it just feels off to me about the vocals. The musicianship on this is really good. I like the vocalist for what it is. I mean, I like the vocalist vocals, but they just seem off in the mix. if that makes any sense. I guess if you check it out for yourself, you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about there. And then the last CD that I got from this seller is some sleaze rock out of Germany. This is Dirty Connections with We Are the Night. This reminds me, it has like an industrial vibe going on. Sometimes reminds me of some stuff from Rob Zombie as of late. I know some of you may or may not be into that type stuff. I do dig Rob Zombie. I found this mildly enjoyable. It's not something that I'm going to just find myself returning to over and over. I got the disc upside down. But I mean, when I'm in the mood for something like that, some Rob Zombie, yeah, I'll probably throw some Rob Zombie on. But if I don't have that handily available, then this could possibly itch that scratch for me, I guess. Pretty decent stuff. As I said, not something that I find myself just wanting to hear all of the time. But I mean, it's sleaze rock, so I mean, it's fun for what it is. And that was all that I got from that seller. And then I saw, this is another little promo CD that I saw as those were ending. I went ahead and grabbed this as well. This is a promo CD for Milwaukee Metalfest 11. Milwaukee Metalfest is not around anymore. I remember being younger, first getting into like death metal and that type stuff, and it felt like that was like the one all be all for us here in the States. It was to make a trip to Milwaukee for Metalfest. This promo CD was released in 1997, so that was around about the heyday where I was really starting to get into death metal, and I wanted to make a trip to Milwaukee so bad. And there were some guys from high school, and I think we all wanted to. And then just that fast, the Metalfest went under. But this is a promo CD for Milwaukee Metalfest 11. There's some classic stuff on this. I just got this just mainly for the nostalgia's sake. There's a Creator, Skin Lab is on here, Oppressor, Mortal Skull is on here, Epoch of Unlight. I know most of you know that I'm a lover of Epoch of Unlight. Dead Man Circus, Deviant. I mean, there's some stuff on here that I don't even remember. And it was nice to kind of go back and relive the past a little bit with these little promo compilation CDs. But there was quite a bit of classic stuff on this. A little bit different than what I usually show off. So hopefully you guys like some of this stuff. I have another video coming up very, very soon. Like I said, I've got so much material, but I don't want to just oversaturate you guys where you just don't even want to see my face anymore. I'm sure some of you are already at that point, and I don't want to make it any worse. So I'm going to try to space these out. I may go ahead and record them and then release them, like set up scheduled release times, just so it's just not back to back to back right in your face. But that's all I've got for today. Stay classy, stay metal. I will see you all very soon, I promise.